Sometimes we're moms on the edge. We're women on the edge. We're women on the edge in ministry. We're women on the edge in the workplace. We own businesses and we're working ourselves to the bone to get that business going, to get it to happen. We're doing everything as if it all depends on you. Well, you can work hard, but you can work according to the way God has for you to work, because you don't have to advertise yourself to death to be successful. God will open up opportunities. He will create divine appointments where He will open doors that no man can shut. You just do what God shows you to do, and that's going to be enough. You don't have to make yourself a reputation. And the scripture says, listen, that's the way it's done. If you're frazzled, you want to be like Jesus, according to verse 5. Let this mind be in you. Because how many of you know that it's the mind that controls everything else? The reason that you do what you do is because your mind tells you that that's what needs to be done. Verse 7, it says, make himself of no reputation, and took upon himself the form of a servant. Oh, no, this is painful. It is painful. Have you ever been in one of those boardrooms, in the boardroom where there's competition, in the boardroom where really everybody wants to sit at the right hand of the person who's responsible for the meeting? And then as you go right down the end to the end, that's the least powerful person. I mean, so you just get there, and what you're trying to do is get that seat so that you can be at the head of the table. And goodness knows, you would not dare go over and try to serve anybody coffee. You wouldn't dare try to give anybody tea, because that would somehow make you less of a woman. It would make you less powerful. It would make you a less of a important player on this deal. The scripture says, do you know what Jesus did? Jesus did this. He took upon himself the form of a servant. Form, though, he acted like a servant. He came and he became a servant. It was a choice. I mean, this is the most powerful being that ever existed. And he said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to take upon myself the form of a servant. Have you ever felt like a servant? You know what? When I think of servants, or bond servants, as Paul uses that word, another word, slave, it's just not a fun thing to think about. Because none of us really want to be stepped on. We don't want to be used. We're concerned, we're afraid that if we take on ourselves the form of a servant, then nobody is going to respect us. And then we decide that instead of really being a servant, we're going to act like a servant. We're not going to be a servant. We're going to act like a servant, and we're going to put ourselves out and say, you know what, I'm a servant, I'm the chair of this committee. But then what we're really doing is trying to make ourselves a reputation as the chair of the committee. So we say, I'm going to act like a servant, and I'm going to go and I'm going to be sweet, and everybody's going to think I'm sweet, sweet, and precious, precious, because I'm going to smile and I'm going to be laughing and I'm going to be talking, but really what I'm going to be doing is giving myself some power. God made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant. I'm going to tell you a little secret. You know what? Sometimes when you take of yourself the form of a servant, you will get stepped on. You will be treated badly. But then, if I remember correctly, Jesus was too. So it's not above you to do that, is that? I mean, if that's what God is saying do, why not? Why not try it? And what happened with Jesus when he took himself, the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men? What great love. What a great servant. That he would come to serve somebody like me, and I know I don't deserve it. That he would love me enough to say, hey, Karia, I'm going to do something for you.